It's been almost a year since my Random Orbital Sander bit the dust, and with limited funds I've had to make do with hand sanding, but it's got to a point where I needed to look at purchasing a new one. I've seen a few people on the forums mention this little Makita sander, and at £45 from Screwfix I decided to buy one whilst I was ordering some drill bits. Now I don't do many unboxing videos, but if it's of interest to anyone, I've filmed this short little video on the off chance that it may be of use. There's the usual instruction booklet included in the box, and I'll read that later if I'm struggling to get to sleep. There's also a free sanding disc, but it doesn't feel that great and doesn't really stick well to the sander, so I'll not be using that and I'll stick to my usual brand of discs. The tool itself actually feels quite good quality for the price and weighs just over a kilogram. Now what you see here is everything that's in the box, and I guess there's not much more that you'd expect. I actually did have to have a quick look at the instructions to see how the dust collector emptied, but it's very straightforward. It's basically just twist and remove, and then in the reverse order allows it to fit back together. The collector is only small, but that won't be an issue for me as I mainly connect my tools to dust extractors. Cable length is fine and measures around 2 meters, any longer and it would just get in my way. But I guess for people working on site they might want it a bit longer, but I don't think this is aimed at site workers, although that's not to say that it's not up to the job. Pads for this sander are 125mm, which is handy for me as they're the same ones that I use on my previous sander. The dust collector fits well, and what I like about this sander is the switch placement, which is at the front. On my previous sander it was on the side and I was forever catching it and switching it off. But the main difference between this one and my last sander is that this one has no variable speed, but that shouldn't be a problem for what I use them for. Now I was really impressed with the dust extraction. I use these adapters on most of my tools and this fits perfectly to this sander. The sanding disc that I already had fit really well to the sander, and I tend to use this little alignment tool that I made to line the sanding holes perfectly. I thought a quick test was needed, so I tried it on my guitar build, which is covered with milliput. Milliput can be quite difficult to sand off, so this was the perfect test, and it breezed it. I did have to be very careful and sand it very lightly, but it only took a few seconds and it removed the milliput no problem. So all in all, I'm quite happy with it and I feel like it was a nice little purchase. Obviously it's not as high powered as some sanders out there, but for the smaller jobs it's ideal. Prior to making the videos on YouTube, I worked as a firefighter for nearly 20 years, serving my community and helping to save lives and promote the fire safety message. Unfortunately, an accumulation of many upsetting scenes became too much for my mind to cope with, and after years of failed therapy I was retired from the service on the grounds of ill health and signed off medically from any employment. To keep myself busy, both body and mind, I developed an interest in woodworking and car mechanics, and with already having a hobby in filming and music, I combined my interests and started making videos here on YouTube, filming, editing and composing my own music for my woodworking and car restoration channels Smugwood and Smugwoodmini. Unfortunately, to produce such videos comes at a price, and with minimal funds after being retired from employment, I've turned to Patreon to see if there is additional support out there which could allow me to continue making the woodworking and car restoration videos. In return for support, there are various levels which are explained in more depth at the Patreon link below, but includes the chance to win one of my YouTube projects made throughout the year, and also inclusion into random prize draws open to patrons only. In addition, I'd like to thank everybody who already subscribes to my channels, or watches, comments, likes and shares them, as it all goes to help support my channels, and for that I'm really appreciative. It's my hope that I can continue making the videos for the foreseeable future. Thanks once again for your continued support.